The Yule Cat, also called Christmas Cat, is a huge and vicious cat from Icelandic Christmas folklore that is said to lurk in the snowy countryside during the Christmas season and eat people who do not receive new clothing before Christmas Eve. In other versions of the story, the cat just eats the food of people without new clothes. The Yule Cat is closely associated with other figures from Icelandic folklore, considered the pet of the ogress Gryla and her sons, the Yule lads. Origins: the first definitive mention of the Yule Cat is from an 1862 collection of folklore by Jean The first definitive mention of the Yule Cat is from an 1862 collection of folklore by John Armisen. It was described as an evil beast that would either eat those who did not get new clothes for Christmas or eat their Christmas bit, an extra portion of food given to residents of a farm. John gave no source for either story. Two theories have since been proposed for the origin of the story. In one theory, folklorist Arne Bjornsson points to a footnote by John, which uses the figure of speech to address the cat. From this footnote and the lack of any written sources about the Yule Cat prior to John's writings, Arne concluded that the phrase was the source from which John created the monster. In another theory, archaeologists, a name I cannot pronounce, connects the Yule Cat to various entities that in other European traditions accompanied Saint Nicholas. Gudmundur noted that sources for any kind of folklore and history were typically scarce, so the lack of written sources on the Yule Cat did not carry much significance. The Yule Cat was traditionally used as a threat and incentive for farm workers to finish processing the wool collected in the autumn before Christmas. Those who took part in the work were rewarded with new clothes, but those who did not would get nothing and thus would be prey for the Yule Cat. The establishment of the Yule Cat as part of classic Icelandic Christmas folklore came in 1932 when Johannes Jökullum published his poetry collection, blah 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 blah, Christmas is Coming. One of the poems, the Yule Cat, centered on the infamous man-eating monster, which subsequently became a common part of Christmas festivities and decorations in Iceland. When the poem did not associate the Yule Cat with Gryla, Leblu, or the Yule lads, the characters were also featured in the collection. This commonality led to connections in later stories by the middle of the 20th century. The Yule Cat was considered the pet of Gryla and her sons. In some later stories, the Yule Cat is so disobedient that only Stuffer, the smallest Yule lad, is able to direct it, and he rides the cat across the countryside. In Gibijor, Perbergus composed several songs based on Johannes' poems, including one based on the Yule Cat around 1970. In 2008, the English-language online newspaper, the Revijikak Grapevine, published an article about the Yule Cat. This has been considered partially responsible for the Yule Cat gaining international recognition, and the story of the Yule Cat was repeated and expanded upon in various other articles. In 2018, the city of Revijik set up a 5M, 16-foot tall Iron sculpture of the Yule Cat as a Christmas decoration in the city's central square. In December 2023, a film about the Yule Cat titled Something I Can't Say, localized into English as Krampus, was released in Iceland. The appearance of the Yule Cat is described as having glowing eyes, sharp whiskers, and a hairy clawed paw. Behavior: the Yule Cat prowls the snowy countryside and looks at windows to see which children have new clothes. If a child doesn't have new clothes, the Yule Cat eats them. Origin: the legend of the Yule Cat may have originated as a way to encourage farmers to finish their work on time so there would be enough wool to make clothes for everyone. It may also have been a way for parents to convince their children to do their chores. Moral: the legend serves as a reminder of the importance of duty and the need to prepare for winter. It also teaches children to be thankful for what they have and to share with those who have less. Written record: the earliest written records of the Yule Cat date back to the 1800s, but the tale is said to date back much further. One of the most well-known accounts of the Yule Cat is from 1932 poem book Jólin Koma Christmas is Coming by Icelandic poet Johannes Jökull. Yule Cat is closely associated with other figures from Icelandic folklore, including the ogre Skryla and her sons the Yule lads. Meaning, the Yule Cat, or in Jotunheim in Icelandic, is the Christmas time monster that represents the importance of hard work and community in Icelandic culture. I'm trying to find the actual poem to read, but I can't find it. So far, I was just reading a bit of the wiki page, but I can't find the actual poem. So yeah, in case you didn't know that the Yule Cat exists in Iceland, I think I found the poem for real. The Yule Cat roams the land of fire and ice, but doesn't live on giant mice. High on catnip he spends his days, except for Christmas when there is no haze. From frigid glaciers to volcanoes, he hunts the children that don't have new clothes. He gobbles them up, boots and all, and doesn't matter if they're tall or small. Icelandic gravel fields are his litter trays, leaving Yule logs as big as Swiss chatlets. That's tiny. Yeah, Ray exists. The Yule Cat exists for real. But yet I can't find his poem. There's a different one. It might be the poem, or it might just be a bunch of different ones about him. In winter's wasteland, the Yule Cat will creep towards the huts and hovels where the children sleep, the children in charity with no warm clothes to wear, the poor little papas in direct despair. The monster cat prowls as they're curled up crying, shivering and freezing, hungry and dying. The Yule Cat will snatch and pull your babes from their beds, bite at their bodies and gnaw on their heads. But if they're dressed in new Christmas clothes, the cat passes on into another house goes. So give clothes to the needy, or they'll come across claws, the fangs of the Yule Cat in his ravenous jaws. So y'all better hope y'all got some new clothes for Christmas. If not, the Yule Cat will get you. The Yule Cat is also called the Christmas Cat, and by Icelandic names that I can't pronounce. Here's a picture of a Yule Cat that they erect in Iceland. I think it applies to everybody. I think it applies to adults too. It says describes a gigantic and very dangerous cat that prowls the snowy countryside and catches people instead of mice during Christmas. Uh-oh, Ray, you better ask for new clothes real quick, or just tell your wife to give you a pair of her socks or something to protect you. It's new. Yeah, darkness will protect you. Maybe this is the poem. You know the Christmas cat, that cat is very large. We don't know where he came from, nor where he has gone. He opened his eyes widely, glowing both of them. It was not for cowards to look into them. His hair sharp as needles, and his back was high and bulgy, and claws on his hairy paw were not a pretty sight. Therefore the women competed to rock and sew and spin and knit colorful clothes, or one little sock, for the cat could not come and get the little children. They had to get new clothes from the grown-ups. When Christmas Eve was lighted and the cat looked inside, the children stood straight and red-cheeked with their presents. He waved his strong tail. He jumped and scratched and blew and was either in the valley or out on the headland. He walked about hungry and mean. It hurtfully cold Christmas snow and kindled the hearts with fear in every town. If outside one heard a weak meow, then unlock was sure to happen. Unluck. All knew he hunted men and didn't want mice. He followed the poorer people who didn't get any new clothing near Christmas. Near Christmas. And tried and lived in poorest conditions. From then he took at the same time all their Christmas food and ate them also if he could. Therefore the women competed to rock and sew and spin and knit colorful clothes or one little sock. Some had gotten an apron, and some had got a new shoe or anything that was needful, but that was enough, for pussy should not eat no one who got some new piece of clothes. He hissed with his ugly voice and ran away. If he still exists, I don't know. But for nothing would he be his trip if everybody would get next Christmas some new rag. You may want to keep it in mind to help if there is need, for somewhere there might be children who get nothing at all. Perhaps that looking for those who suffer from lack of plentiful lights will give you a happy season and Merry Christmas. The Yule Cat story, or as it is titled in Icelandic, this word I can't say, Jólakotturinn, is said to have originated during the Dark Ages, even though the oldest written version of the story are from the 19th century. The story relates how medieval employers would reward their employees for their hard work with new clothes and shoes every Christmas. But yeah, it kind of repeats itself. There is a movie on Netflix, The Christmas Chronicles 2 features the Yule Cat, though it doesn't really tell the story. However, if you were lazy and were not rewarded with new clothes, the Yule Cat would come and eat you. A new twist to the story is if you give new clothes to someone, you will not be eaten. The story is obviously meant for children to encourage them to be productive and avoid laziness. It's funny, as I'm looking it up, but you don't see the poem anywhere. I see stuff, but I don't know if it's the actual poem. I looked up the Yule Cat book. Several things popped up. I haven't read any of these books, but that's a cool looking cover. Yeah, it's a cool looking cover. Well, I can't find the poem, I don't think. Yeah, the first one looks like AI stuff. That looks like AI. I like the Tuxedo Cat one. That's the one I thought looked cool. Beware the Yule Cat. But yeah, on YouTube there's videos of the Yule Cat too. Now I just looked up some like images to see when you Google the Yule Cat. Maybe that's the actual poem there. Are you a Yule Cat, Firestar? Are you a Yule Cat, Percy? Are y'all Yule Cats? Are you the Christmas cats? Meow. Meow. What about you, Jelly Bean? Jelly Bean. You're right, Ray. I definitely asked I asked for some new clothes for Christmas. It's pretty cool. When I zoomed in on this particular picture, it's talking about a game that you could play. I think it's like a word game. But yeah, it's some kind of game apparently you could play. That's pretty cool. Hi Icon, Merry Christmas. Despite the YouTube videos, it's hard to find information about the Yule Cat. I might have to buy a Yule Cat book. I found out about the Yule Cat about 4 years ago. It's funny, you look up stuff and like pop up multiple stuff. It's funny, it says how to celebrate Yule Cat. It says Yule Cat enforces good behavior. The Yule Cat is a Christmas time enforcer of good behavior similar to Krampus. Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for coming to my live stream. But the main info you need about the Yule Cat is, why don't you just knock all the shoes down, buddy, old pal? The Yule Cat eats children without new clothes. If a child doesn't have new clothes, the Yule Cat will eat them. So, ask for new clothes this Christmas. Apparently, there was a song created about the Yule Cat. A song based on poems by the name I can't pronounce, including the story of the Yule Cat, was developed in the 1970s. I'm gonna look up the song. I might get demonetized, but oh well. Though I'm not monetized at all. I mean, copyright. I might get copyright for looking up the song. I'll get copyrighted. The Yule Cat song. Copyright. There's apparently several Yule Cat songs popping up. I don't know what song is the correct one, so I'll pick the oldest one. It says 9 years ago. Yeah, I don't understand the language. Yeah, it's not in English, unfortunately. Maybe we can find a Yule Cat with English.
Stars shine bright, a shadow stirs in silence under pale moonlight.
every window, searching high and low. For those who've been naughty in their faith, they'll soon know. People tremble in their homes, whispers fill the air. Where he came from, none can tell. A creature of despair, his whiskers sharp as bristles, back arched with a glare, with claws that gleam like daggers. He prowls without a care. Oh, the Yule I almost feel like this is AI generated song. Prowls, his eyes aglow through the snowy countryside. He'll peer through every window, searching high and low. For those who've been naughty in their faith, they'll soon know. It's got a good beat. Some might dare to look him in the eye, but most will turn away, hoping to get by. A flick of his strong tail, a hiss that chills the bone, a warning in the night, you're better off alone. With every meow that echoes, heart skip a beat, for in the dark of Yule, he's hunting for a treat. So stitch those new clothes quickly, don't let the Yule Cat creep, or you may find yourself in the belly of this beast. Oh, the Yule Cat prowls, his eyes glow through the snowy countryside. He'll peer through every window, searching high and low. For those who've been naughty in their faith, they'll soon know. Gather round the fire, let the stories be told of the Yule Cat's wicked ways in the winter's icy hold. Keep your hearts warm and your spirits bright, or face the fearsome Yule Cat on this frosty Christmas night. He's guarding the litter boxes. Jelly Bean, are you the Yule Cat? Meow meow. Well, there's a bunch of Yule Cat songs, but I'm not gonna play anymore because I'm probably most definitely gonna get copyrighted. But it's a bunch. If you look up Yule Cat, a bunch of stuff pops up. Or Indoor Christmas Cat. I think somebody actually found the actual poem in a video. How's everybody's Christmas Eve going? Were y'all naughty or nice this year? That's sweet. My aunt had a Christmas Eve party tonight, and when I was there, she has 4 dogs and a cat. All of them were all in my lap on the sofa. They all couldn't fit, but one was behind my head on the sofa, and then 2 were on me. Then one was sitting right beside me. Time to give him his privacy. Yep, I was buried. It was funny. And it was funny, she said, I'm surprised, Rudy, which was the name of one of the dogs, I'm surprised Rudy's in your lap. Normally he likes to bite people. Well, I was Rudy approved. You finished or you going to a different box? It's funny, a little bite lap. I'm lucky I didn't get bit. It's funny, he was all splayed out of my lap too, belly up, wanting his belly petted. Tomorrow, one of my cousins is hosting Christmas. I'm making a carrot cake and some crab dip, and my dad's cooking a ham to take there. Mr. Acrobat. Acrobat cat. Oreo. Are you the Yule Cat? Oh yeah, I did make figgy pudding. So I cut up figgy pudding in some fruit cake and I poured almond bark over it and I'm taking it there. I also made almond bark pretzels. If you've ever eaten a fig Newton, that tastes a lot like figgy pudding. I'm wondering if I should give the cats their Christmas presents early or wait for the morning. Nothing?